Hey, and welcome to another Saturday Morning Reviews. I'm your host, Vincent LaSpada. Thank you for joining me on a special. Oh, boy, hold on. There we go. Had the wrong button. A very, very special edition of Saturday Morning Movie Reviews. My co-host Skip is not with me this week, but hey, listen, the show must go on, and I'm going to give you the best show that I can. This week was very special, guys. This was a 40th anniversary of Back to the Future. Huge movie in 1985, probably, if not the biggest that year. I did some research, so I'll get to that just in a little bit. I have the top 10 box office of 1985. I also have some trivia, and we are also going to talk about the Scream 7 trailer here on the show this morning. But I hope everybody had a great Halloween. I know last night I tried to go out, and that did not work for me too well. I could not find a parking spot to save my life in downtown Sanford. But hey, listen, that's okay, because I got some sleep, because I'm going to need it today, because I have a long day. I'm also going to go see Bert Kreischer tonight. So very excited about that. First time for that one. But let's get into Back to the Future. It's the 40th release this year. It's old as I am. I turned 40 this year. So did Back to the Future. Isn't that a coincidence? I was born in 1985. The movie was made in 1985. This movie, if you've not seen it, you must be living under a rock, or you're not with the times. So I suggest you go out and rent it, buy it, view it, if you've not seen it, but I'm sure you have. Back to the Future is about a 17-year-old boy that is time traveling, but really what the story is about is family and the trial. I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying. It's about a time traveling movie, but it's also about family and different time periods, and how they all work together. But it's a great film. It stars Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Tom Wilson, Crispin Glover. You got cameos with Huey Lewis. And the list goes on and on. There's a lot of people in this movie that made a career out of this just one film, that kicked their actual film film career off with this movie. But the interesting thing about this movie was that they shot for six weeks before they recasted Marty McFly. They originally wanted Michael J. Fox to be Marty McFly, but he was already in a previous contract with doing Family Ties. The new book Future Boy that just came out explains that all. Great book. I'm kind of, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 chapters in, but it's like there's probably questions that you've had that you've not known about that he answers in this book. But yeah, so he was filming Family Ties, and Bob Gale, Robert Zemeckis, and Steven Spielberg wanted Michael J. Fox to play the character of Marty, but he already had previous engagements. So they filmed 6 weeks with Eric Stoltz, who had a great career despite getting fired from Back to the Future. But 6 weeks came up. They let Eric Stoltz go. They hired Michael J. Fox, but the terms and conditions was he would have to work in the daytime on Family Ties, and then drive over to the set of Universal and film Back to the Future all night. So pretty much he was a zombie for I don't know how many months of filming the movie. But I'm glad he did it, because I don't think anybody else could have played Marty McFly And that's just my opinion. There's not many. There's if you go and watch that, and then there also if you go to the on the Blu-ray, they have actual. Uh, they don't have any of Marty McFly, but they have other characters that they screen tested for, and some of the names on there will surprise you. I know Ben Stiller's one. Um, forget who else, but Ben Stiller was a big one on there. So, uh, big week for Back to the Future. It came out in IMAX. I went to go see it on Thursday night when it came out for its release. They were giving out nice Back to the Future commemorative posters, a little different from the actual poster. But let's look at some of the posters they did for the 40th because they looked really nice. So this was the main one they did. This was probably hanging up in all the AMC's and some of the other theaters. This was the IMAX poster that was hanging up. This was a blown up one, probably the size of a door. That was for the IMAX, and then this one I've not seen, but this is an AMC exclusive. Just great work on these posters. I mean, just the detail in these, bringing all these characters and just key elements to the movie is just a really, really cool idea. And I think Drew Shoresman, I hope I'm saying his last name right, who was the guy that actually drew for not only Back to the Future, but for Star Wars, for Jaws. He was the 80s illustrator for all those Indiana Jones, all those posters, just recently died. So if you got your hands on something that he did, like myself, you're in great hands because that's something that I would never sell because not only is it Back to the Future, but it just to me it holds more of a value because he signed it. He didn't really do a whole lot of conventions, so to have a piece signed by him is like it's like having a Bob Ross painting. Maybe not. Maybe I'm lying, but it's similar, something similar. So yeah, the posters were cool. I saw it in IMAX. I actually got there early. Got the DeLorean popcorn bucket, which is really cool. If you've not seen that, go check that out on Google. It's a popcorn bucket. Both wing doors open up on both sides. There's a tray on each side that comes out. The popcorn goes in the middle, and then the wheels fold up underneath, and then it also lights up. So that's really cool. They had a really cool collectible cup that had like the sports almanac. It had the flux capacitor, the time circuits. Really cool piece. But when I went there and I got to go, well, I kind of snuck in to the last like 4 or 5 minutes on the previous IMAX, and just to see this movie blown up in IMAX, crazy that this movie was blown up to be on IMAX and it looks so great. Like I'm telling you, if you have time to see it, I think Wednesday's the last day. But if you have time this weekend or anytime next weekend, as long as it's in theaters, go see it on IMAX because I'm gonna tell you what, it's well worth the money, and you'll never get to see it on IMAX like that on a big screen like that unless it comes out every year. They do it that way, which I hardly doubt. But it looks really, really good for being such a 40 years 40-year-old movie to be blown up on IMAX. It's tremendous. So yeah, so I saw it on IMAX. Great. It was, I mean, I don't know how big IMAX screens are, maybe 2 or 3 stories, like they're huge. No graininess. It actually looked like it was filmed, this year. But it had that old school film look to it. But let's get into movies that from back then, 1985, that the box office. Let's start with number 10. It's called A View to Kill. This is a classic. It's a British. It's a James Bond. It's a James Bond movie. And that one, hold on, my computer's not really working that well. Let's see. That did $50 million. You got Fletch, which is really good. And this one stars Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase. That was pretty funny. Number 8, you got Police Academy 2, the first assignment, $55 million. Number 7, you got the classic Goonies, which is at $61 million. At number 6, I think this is the Harrison Ford movie called Witness. Am I right? Let's see. Yeah, I think Harrison Ford's this one. It's called Witness. That's at 68 million. Cocoon, which is another Steven Spielberg movie. Great movie. That's at $76 million. Rocky 5, Sylvester Stallone, $89 million. That's at number 4. Number 3, Rambo First Blood Part 2, another Sylvester Stallone movie, $150 million. Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, we all know Beverly Hills Cop, 157 million. At number 1, Back to the Future at $190 million. Now that might not sound a lot. That might not sound a lot for that, from back then, but you got to remember, movies in today's society make hell of a lot more money than they did back then. So $190 million for back then was a pretty big deal. Also, a couple of movies I should mention. Pale Rider came out that year. Teen Wolf, which was also filmed. Another fun fact about Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox was filming Teen Wolf on the same street as they were filming Back to the Future with Eric Stoltz. And he kept asking about the film because he kept passing by them filming the other movie. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger came out that same year. And Return of Oz, the sequel to The Wizard of Oz. Oh, also Pee-wee's Big Adventure came out that year as well. The Last Dragon. Let's see what else came out. Weird Science came out that year. Oh boy, there's so many movies. Fright Night came out that year too. So many movies came out in 1985 that I did not even know that actually those movies came out. So that's a cool piece. Let's get into some actual trivia about Back to the Future because there's a lot. A couple things that I found out tonight or this morning, actually, I should say this morning. I was watching a video with Bob Gale. He just did a recent interview with a blogger over the weekend for the 40th anniversary. And a couple questions that I did not know, and I didn't even realize in the movie that one in particular, I think it's funny that Bob Gale, the writer, producer, and of the film, didn't even know how to answer. But in the end of Back to the Future, if you remember in the beginning, Doc Brown gets shot by the Libyans. So when he's going back, he sets the time for 10 minutes to go back so he can tell Doc that he's going to get shot. Well, in the movie, and I didn't even realize this, in the movie, it was 11 minutes instead of 10 minutes. The guy asked Bob Gale why it was 11 minutes, and he didn't even know how to answer that. I don't even think Bob Gale realized and knew that was happening. Another question that I thought was interesting was Marty McFly's brother in the movie, Dave, works at Burger King. And if you recall, in the beginning of the film, Michael J. Fox is skateboarding past the Burger King, and he asked Bob Gale, is that the same Burger King that Dave works at? And he was very shocked to realize that. And nobody's asking that question. So that was kind of cool because, I mean, listen, I know you guys are probably thinking this is stupid information, but you have to understand when you're asking actors and actresses and directors and writers and you have a bunch of people that are asking the same questions, it gets redundant. I mean, there's only so many times you can answer that question over and over and over again. So it's cool that these guys actually take time for their questions and to figure out, what am I going to ask a writer and producer of one of the greatest films of all time, Back to the Future, Mr. Bob Gale? What am I going to ask him that he might be like, wow, nobody's ever asked me that question before? And so there was a couple. If you want to see the interview, I will try to put a link in the bio that you can click on and watch it. But there's a lot that went on last week. Last weekend they did the last Back to the Future meetup at in the movie it was called Twin Pines Mall. And it wasn't Lost. It was God. It was somewhere in California. They did the meetup for Back to the Future at the Twin Pines Mall, where they shot Back to the Future at, and they had like all the actors, not the big actors, but like the smaller actors. Some of the producers were there. So this is a big deal, guys. There's not a lot of movies that I can sit here and say that they do meetups. They still do reunions. There's not a lot. There's a few, but Back to the Future is pretty big with the meetups and that. Let's get into some trivia questions because there's a lot. Writers Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis actually received a fan letter from John DeLorean after the film's release, thanking him for using the car. So, guys, if you don't recall, John DeLorean got in trouble right after Back to the Future for drug trafficking and money laundering. And this pretty much cut the career and cut the car industry short for DeLorean. So John DeLorean went to prison for that. But beforehand, he got to see his dream car that he made in Back to the Future, I think was really cool. The rights to the film and its sequels are owned by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, not Universal. In 2015, the interview, Zemeckis mentioned that there will be never a reboot or a remake unless him or Bob Gale dies, which I hope never happens, but we know it's going to happen. We know that, we all die. So I just hope they don't ruin it. This movie was rejected 44 times with the script, with a bunch of film houses and production houses. Michael J. Fox has said in many interviews that, everybody recognizes him on the streets, but for one character, and that's McFly. He talked about being in South Asia one time, and some of the people were calling him McFly out really loud. Here's another cool fact. Crispin Glover claimed to have seen the film only once, shortly after its release. In contrast, Christopher Lloyd started that when he saw Back to the Future film while surfing the channel, if he often sits and watches it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I know for sure. I just heard an interview with Michael J. Fox just the other day about he watched Back to the Future. I forget what he said for the 100th time. So not every actor watches their stuff. There are some that don't. I get it. You've lived it. You probably get enough of it when you travel. So I understand all that. But guys, I can't say enough about this film. This is such a great film. Like I said, it's not only a traveling movie, it's about family, it's about relationships. It's about, historic pieces, historic times. There's so much stuff that goes into Back to the Future 1. I just wish they would do anniversaries for all of them. They shot Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3 simultaneously. So they shot 1 and 2, or no, 2 and 3 in the 90s, like 1990. Um, but for some reason, those movies aren't as popular as the first one, but they're all good. They're all great. Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3 in the West. If you've not seen the trilogy, I recommend go seeing it. There is a if you go online, there is a website where they stream all three films um as one. So there's no break in them. It's just a continuation. And I think that's like 4 hours, 4 hours and a half. I've not yet done that, and I want to. So, but guys, listen, Back to the Future 40th anniversary. Go see it. It is now in theaters until I think next week. IMAX is what really is the real big one. If you see it in IMAX, that's something that you won't see ever again. So go check it out in IMAX. Guys, let's get into Scream 7 trailer has just hit the internet. Was it last night? Scream 7 trailer hit. And we do have Nev Campbell is returning in Scream 7. If you guys have not recalled or have recalled, she's not been in the last couple because of a money issue, contract issue with her pay. But now she's in the new one. The trailer looked okay. I mean, there was a couple spots that I think, really stood out than others. There was a cool spot where I think it was Sydney's daughter. Sydney is Nev Campbell in the movie, is hanging from a chandelier, which I thought was really cool. There was a question that I listened to a guy say, which I thought was pretty interesting, that there's no bad guy in this film. Like, I know you're all going to say, well, isn't I was going to say Leatherface. No, isn't Ghostface? Isn't he the bad guy? Yes, but you also have to understand too, Ghostface is played by many characters. Okay, because if one Ghostface dies, another one picks up where he left off. So realistically, it's not like a Freddy or a Michael Myers, because those guys are all the same. Jason. Ghostface is played by several people through the series, and each movie somebody else plays Ghostface. So I understand what they were saying by there's no bad guy in this film. Also returning in this film is Courtney Cox, who plays the news reporter. She's been in every single one of them. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think she's the only one. Let's see, because I know the cast pretty well. Let's see. I think she's the only one that is returning that's been in almost every single one. Okay. Bear with me, guys. Internet is very slow this morning. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there's another thing that I have to mention about this trailer. There's a part where Ghostface has a shotgun. I think that's a little ridiculous that he has a shotgun because he always has a knife. Okay, yes. So I was right. I think Courtney Cox is the only one that's been in all of them. A lot of these names in here, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. David Arquette. I think David Arquette and Courtney Cox are the only two that have been in all the films. David Arquette playing Dewey, and Courtney Cox playing Gail Weathers, who is a reporter. So am I looking forward to seeing this? I'm not sure, guys. The last one wasn't the greatest. Again, it had some moments, but how many of these can we make? How many of these how many are these films are gonna make? I mean, like, how many Fast and Furious can you make? How many times can you tell the same story over and over again? How many times can you repeat what you're doing? These companies seem to do it very well because, like I say all the time, if we keep paying for for them watching, for them to make junk. They're going to keep making junk, and they're going to keep making money because we can't stop not watching these films. So it's a shame that we don't realize that we're you know that we're pretty much destroying ourselves because we're watching the same stuff over and over again, and it's repetitive. But guys, listen, that's all the time I have for you. Thank you for joining me. Again, Back to the Future, the 40th anniversary is now in theaters. If you want to check it out, go check it out. Like, subscribe, leave a review in the comments. And again, guys, listen, there's a lot that goes on here at UPR. There's another entertainment show that happens in the middle of the week. And I'm not sure about a lot of the shows now because I just heard recently that we're not doing Monday Night Raw, Rated R review show, and SmackDown. Some of the hosts are preoccupied with other things in their life, so it's hard. So now we're going to be doing one show a week on the weekends. But that still doesn't leave. We still have on the other UPR wrestling side, you still have NXT reviews, which is Tuesday nights with the great Puma. You have the Wrestling Doll and Matt Mad Dog Kelly. You also can join me Wednesday nights for the AEW review, every AEW Elite Heat podcast with Venomous Vincent, Cactus Katie, and the Sheriff. And like I said, the other show, I think it's Saturday, is going to be reviewing both shows. So you can check that out. But until next time, hope you guys have a great Saturday and a great weekend. And I'll see you at the movies. Good day, everybody.